Hello and welcome. I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. So let's continue to play Dwarf Fortress. Let's fire up the utilities. Gotta get Quick Fort, Sound Sense, Dwarf Fortress. Let's get it all running. So I'm gonna do what's kind of become one of my patterns here is before we begin playing, there's a couple things that have come up that I've remembered or just noticed during the break between playing. So I want to cover a few topics before we start playing, and actually this is a great opportunity, I think, because one of the changes that I want to make, I'm going to need to close Dwarf Fortress 4. So I'm going to go to the DF hack screen here, and I'm just going to type die. And what that does is it just kills the program without saving, and I don't have to worry about losing my current save game or taking a long time to actually save the state. I can just get out. And also the nice feature too is the music keeps playing in the background. So if you like this music, then that's interesting. Alright, so I need to pull up Masterwork. 0.2G, the settings folder, and I'm going to make a couple small changes. I noticed the last time that I was playing that the key repeat was a bit slow for my liking, and also the graphics were a little bit choppy. And so I'm going to change this setting here. It's called key repeat and key hold. Key hold is how long I have to hold a button depressed before it will begin repeating. So if I'm trying to cycle down through a menu, especially later on in the game when you have tons and tons of items, it can take a long time to scroll through a big list. So I'm okay with the key hold being at 150, but I want to reduce the key repeat. So I basically want it to repeat the key presses a lot faster. It's going to make it so that it's very quick. I can scroll through a list very quickly. And also it will accelerate. I'm going to bump this up quite a bit. I'm going to put the key repeat excel limit to 20, and I want it to start right away. So within 1 second it's going to rapidly accelerate how quickly it moves. So I can zoom through a list, and then if I want to select something specific, I just lift the key and then press it again a couple times. The other thing that I wanted to change was the graphics. The FPS cap I'm fine with, but I'm actually going to bump the graphics cap up to 60. That way the game's going to refresh the graphics every 60 times every second. Now, generally 30 is going to be okay, but I found that every now and then you just miss a couple frames and it feels like the dwarves are teleporting, and I can't stand that. I need them to have that fluid motion where I can easily see that that's, the dwarf went in this path. So that will help. Just be aware though that if you follow my advice here and you take that setting, then this can put a lot of extra strain on your computer, because one of the things that's kind of interesting about Dwarf Fortress is that it's actually rendered completely by your processor, meaning that And also, it's only run on one core. So even though I've got a quad-core processor, it's only able to run on one core. Multi-thread, multi-cores doesn't matter. And the power of your graphics card doesn't really matter that much either. There are a couple graphics settings that you can use. For instance, I've got the print mode in 2D. There's a couple on here. One of them will allow your graphics card to do the rendering. The only problem with that is that when you render that way, you cannot use TrueType, and you can't use some of the settings don't work. Like, for whatever reason, TrueType can only be enabled on the 2D and standard modes. So it's kind of silly, but real quick, I do want to just check this against my previous version of Dwarf Fortress Masterwork. Make sure that I'm actually bringing along the settings I had in the previous version. So I need to look for Masterwork 2F, and I had the settings in here, data, init. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I was still on 2D there. No TrueType, FPS, yes, 60. Yep. 175. I might actually follow up. Let's make it that way too on this one. Because I fine-tuned these settings pretty well. I was very comfortable with them. So let's go ahead and save, and we should be ready to play. Right. So, let's fire up Dwarf Fortress. Now the sound is going to reload because it's recognizing that a new game has just started. And, alright, so I wanted to talk a little bit about DF Hack at the beginning of this episode as well. I want to show you how you can use DF Hack to make your life a lot easier. Now, DF Hack is basically here to simplify a lot of the repetitive tasks that you have to do while you're playing Dwarf Fortress. So things like monitoring your food and monitoring work jobs and things like that. We're going to get into more detail on that a little bit later. But one that I want to show right now is how you can use DF Hack to help you with designations. So let's say, for example, I want to dig out this tetrahedrite right here. Now the way that you'd normally do that is you'd select it and designate it. And once that's dug out, I might want to go a little bit deeper, or a little bit deeper. And eventually I'm going to get to the end of this vein of tetrahedrite, and I'll be all done. Now that can take a lot of work, a lot of micromanagement. You have to constantly be watching it. It's very distracting. And the end result is that I'm going to dig out the vein, so why not just designate the whole vein all at once? Well, DF Hack has a great tool for that. If we go to DF Hack, let's actually get that to pull up over top of it there. There's a command you can use called dig v, which stands for dig vein. And if I have my cursor highlighted over any vein of material, then I can just type dig v and press enter, and it will automatically designate out that vein. So this works on any kind of vein, like that tetrahedrite right there, or perhaps this gold. I can type dig v and dig that out. In fact, I don't even need to type it out. I can, now that I've typed it once, just use the up arrow on my keyboard. And accidentally, apparently I've got numlock on, so I'm going to turn that off. So that way I can use my keypad. Up arrow just will go to the previous command, so I can do dig v there. In fact, there's even a better way to do it. You can bind this command in DF Hack to a key binding in the game. The way you do that is you type out key binding. That's going to give you a list of the commands that you can use. You can list out what buttons are currently bound. You can set, add, or clear. So what I'm going to do is key binding, and I want to add, actually no, I want to set F8 dig V. So basically I'm telling the game I want you to take F8 and set that as dig V. When I click enter, it's not going to show anything. It's basically just accepted the command. If I had made a mistake, like let's say I typed set F8 and it's lowercase f8, technically lowercase f8 isn't a real button as far as the game's concerned, so I'm going to get this, invalid key spec, invalid key specification. There is no lowercase f8 button. Now, if I needed to check the status, I could type key binding list f8, and it'll show you exactly what it does. In fact, you can actually have key bindings that overlap. Like I could use f8 for a whole bunch of different features as long as they were only applicable in certain contexts. Like the dig V context is that you've got to be selecting a wall, but if I'm in a menu I could use a key binding for something else. Now the reason I used f8 is because these are the default zoom keys, f1 through f8, but I never really get to f8. I usually just need like the first 5 or 6. So I love having it set where I can just be looking at the world and saying, oh yeah, dig that, and that. Yeah, that sounds great. Let's dig out the rest of that tetrahedrite there. Let's dig out that vein. Man, look at that. That's a huge vein. Like it's just so convenient to just be able to say, why don't you just dig that whole thing out? I'm essentially telling the dwarves, dig tetrahedrite until you don't find any more. So I don't feel like it's cheating. It's a very useful feature, and it just makes your life a lot easier. Now, there's a couple other commands you can use. I'm just going to cover a couple of them right now. I'm not going to overburden you with details. But let's see. If we type dig, it's not a recognized command, so never mind. Let's type ls, which gives us a list of all the commands you can use. And there's just a couple I wanted to talk about. First off, I'm going to go ahead. I want to show you how reveal works. If you just type reveal, it's going to reveal the entire game. And you instantly have all tiles revealed. Now, I hate the idea of playing this way because it does feel like you're cheating. But let's say that you are embarking in a new area, you're about ready to commit a huge amount of time to your next fortress, and you want to make sure before you start that you at least have some goddamn iron on the map. If you've been playing this game before, you know what I'm talking about. You play for a couple hours, you're digging down deeper and deeper and deeper, and you just can't find any goddamn iron. Well, there might not be any on the map, period. It's just not there. And another feature you can use in DF Hack is Prospect. Prospect will take all visible on the map, everything that's visible, and add it up. So if you use the reveal command to reveal the map and then type Prospect, you can see exactly what is on your map. So for instance, I know that there's 200-some thousand soil, a lot of stone, like 2.5 million. We've got a bunch of minerals, and then there's a breakdown further down. I can see there's some tetrahedrite, some hematite, some cassiterite, galena, native gold, sphalerite, malachite, native silver. I mean, we got everything, essentially. Not very much of this one, only 60 of it, but 94,000 tetrahedrite, which is actually a copper ore. I think in the last episode I called it iron, but it's a form of copper. So this can be useful if you just want to, get a kind of a lay of the land before you actually embark. And what's even more useful is you can use this command from the embark screen before you've even started playing. So you can at least see if there's the type of metal that you want before you embark. Now, if we kept zooming down, we could go all the way down to the bottom of the map here. I don't want to reveal the caverns, but if you see down this far, this is a secret, and it's not going to be revealed just by using the reveal command, so don't worry. It's not going to cause any problems with your game. But if you ever use the reveal command, do not unpause the game. Make sure that you do whatever prospect type stuff you want to do while the game's paused, and then when you're done, before you resume, just go ahead, go back to DF Hack, and type reveal again. Or excuse me, unreveal. Now the map's going to be hidden. So everything, nothing's any different. Basically all I did was use prospect. So just kind of a neat feature. There's a whole bunch of commands in here. I took quite a while to basically go through them one by one and see if there's anything I could use. And we're going to cover a few of them over time. Just, I don't want to cover it all at once. So, right. Well, I actually do not want them to start working on this stuff yet. I just wanted to demonstrate it. So let's get rid of that. And let's go ahead and play. So the last time we were playing, I remember I had just told this guy to make some bone studs. We dug out at least one floor of that. And that's right, we had just completed out this room. Now, I need to get this masonry thing done, like right away. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got a mason. Fire up Dwarf Therapist. Read Dwarves. We've only got, yeah, we've got 2 masons. So somebody should run over there and do that now. That'll probably be a high priority task. And I actually also want to do this. I'm going to designate a stone stockpile here. And for now, I'm actually going to clear out the middle and then do the same thing over here. Now, I'm not actually going to tell them, like, don't take certain stone. I'm going to remove the number of wheelbarrows just so that anyone that has nothing to do will go ahead and bring stone over here. It's going to be very slow going because they're just going to drag it, and it's quite heavy. If you click on a piece of, see, that's titanium. Wow. Like if they were to carry this piece of gabbro, that's 267, dwarf units of weight, however much a unit of dwarf weight is. And so it's pretty heavy. But I want them to bring the stone here so that my crafters don't have to go get it themselves. And we'll make a small pile over here as well. But I don't want them to bring all stone. I just want them to bring crappy stone. Stone that I plan on building things with. So economic stone and metal ores, I don't want them to gather yet. So I'm going to go through and press forbid and just basically let them carry other stone. Let's make sure that one, I think I got to get the clay off as well. So you can see that, I don't know if you can tell, but I can definitely feel a difference here. When I scroll through a big list, I can go very quickly. It just feels great to me to be able to cycle through that quickly. Right, so somebody needs to get to work on that. And how are we doing on that wagon? Let's go ahead and unpause it. Let's let the game run a bit. So this guy's still cooking. We can see what he's working with if we click twice. You can see he's currently actually cooking with the cheese. And actually that reminds me as well, I want to go back to my kitchen menu. Nope. So we've got the cheese. I'm okay with him cooking with the cheese. I was hoping to catch him before he cooked the booze belly cheese, because you can actually ferment that into booze belly ale. But I missed it. So he's already cooked some booze belly cheese into some sort of a meal. That's okay, but now you can see some of the dwarves bringing in, dragon stone over there. None of them should be idle. Brought up some olivine, some green stone. Why isn't somebody building my masonry hut? Let's do this. So my guess is that the reason why, actually I'll move these over so I can see it better, is that these three miners, these two are also the masons and they'd rather mine. So let's see if we can... He'd only be 62% fit for masonry. But that's okay. See if by doing that we can get that guy to come over here and build that. Yep, he's actually still working on the cheese. He's made some cheese biscuits. Let's read the description. So this is a stack of 6 cheese biscuits. The ingredients are minced cheese and well-minced cheese. So I don't know exactly where the biscuit part came from, but he turned 2 slices of cheese into a biscuit somehow. Good work. There we go. So one of the miners did decide to come up and build our masonry place. And all I really want him to do is just build some blocks. Now this is a feature I'm very excited to talk about. In fact, hold on, I'm confused. So, where did it go? Meph, where did it go? Where's my button to add workflow from this screen? I missed that already. Huh. Shoot, looks like we'll have to use workflow from the, for now we'll have to use workflow from DF Hack, which I have absolutely no experience with. So I'm actually in a little bit of a bind now. I might have to hold off on that until the next patch. Okay, pretend like I didn't say anything at all about workflow. It's a secret. Let's just make some rock blocks. We'll just have to use the manager interface for now. Meph, if you do watch this, I want you to know I'm very disappointed that that's not currently in the game. It's very upsetting. Right, so. Looks like the wagon is still there. Now, and no one is actually working on our bone studs. Do you have a bone carver? We do. Oh, there, he just took apart the wagon. So there's an explosion of wooden logs. They're all over the place now. And that's okay. Now, I could do the burrow restriction thing if I really needed somebody to come in here and start making these blocks, which I actually am getting to that point where I'm really kind of irritated that someone hasn't done it yet. In fact, okay, there we go. So someone is doing it, never mind. You can tell that it's being worked on because of that A, which stands for active. Here come the miners, ready to eat, very hungry. So he's going to turn that stone into blocks. And the reason I need blocks is because I want to build one of the brand new buildings in the Masterwork Fortress mod. So I'm going to go down here to this furniture workshop. It requires 2 building material non-economic blocks and 2 building material non-economic blocks. It actually only requires 2, and again, Meph, if you're watching this, you need to fix that, because when you build the furniture workshop, it says it requires 4, but it actually only takes 2, so it's kind of silly. But so he's making rock blocks. Keep making rock blocks till we have enough. There we go. So, and actually, I think that that's why they are bringing blocks from here to there. They're moving them around. That's what this task means. It means someone's planning on hauling it, and I don't really want them to move them because that's just extra work. They're going to move them from here to there and then from here to where I need them. But anyway, so build, workshop, and then I think it's U? Nope, that's butcher. I've already forgotten. What is the shortcut? I. I for furniture workshop. So I'm going to designate this. It says 2 needed. 1, 2, 1, 2. But then he's actually going to build it with just 2. Got to go through the list twice. I actually corrected it in the previous version myself, but then I updated it to version F. I'm not really sure what you intended there, Meph. Either it's 4 blocks or it's 2, but either way it's not really working right. Now, this is the unfortunate side effect from having them not really do what I wanted them to do right away, and that's that they're falling asleep on the ground. Z means that they're sleeping, and you know, this guy's sleeping in the middle of the workshop, this guy's falling asleep directly after finishing the furniture workshop, and they're going to get an unhappy thought from that. Now if I wanted to go into the interface, I could go deep in here. I could click on this dwarf, I can click Z for status, enter to see his thoughts and preferences, and I can read all of this, what appears to be flavor, but is actually essentially like a code for how they're feeling. So the very first part is going to tell you what type of events have affected their happiness. Been quite content lately, slept on a rough cave floor recently. She's been satisfied at work lately. I'm almost always going to get that thought because by using the role manager, it only gives them labors that they would enjoy. So they're pretty much always going to be satisfied at work. Has complained about the lack of chairs lately, so she ate a meal and wasn't able to sit down. She was caught in the rain recently, so she was outside and didn't like that. Now you could go through and see it this way, but it's much easier to use Dwarf Therapist. So which dwarf are we talking about? This is Cyril Fathalod. So if I had a ton of dwarves, I could always search here. I could just search Cyril. But and then we can hover over her happiness, see a positive there. Has been satisfied at work lately. Now I have to refresh, read dwarves, and I'll see all of those that we just saw. And how many of them, how many times it's happened. So see how it says in green, has been satisfied at work lately, times 2. In the actual game, it only shows it once, so you don't really know. It could have happened 100 times, and it just show once. Dwarf Therapist is much more clear. You know, red is bad, green is good. Overall, she's still content. Her happiness is 103, 100 being about average. Let's go ahead and clear that, sort by happiness, and just see if any of them are upset. Probably not. One guy's at 93, and the miners are all pretty happy because they're apparently making friends with each other, which is good. And apparently one of them came with a family member. So I need to get this bedroom situation resolved before they all start to get unhappy, and ideally I need to build out a dining room as well. So the reason I built this brand new building, the furniture workshop, is because you can actually build beds out of stone, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to use Quick Fort. Let's turn on the tooltip and let's pick out a file, Alt F, and we were doing my bedrooms, and I want to go to build. In order to build, I need 16 of that, 8 of this, 8 of this, 8, 8, 8. So 8R would be 8 weapon racks, and I could have enhanced the tooltip so it was more clear, but it's my own template, so I know exactly what it means. Essentially, what it comes down to is, in order to build my bedrooms, I require 8 sets of noble bedroom. So I'm going to go ahead and queue that up. In fact, let's go ahead and use the manager. I'm going to press U, go down to the manager by pressing M, and I'm going to queue up a new order for Stone Noble, which is going to pull up the Make Stone Bedroom Set Noble. And I'm going to put in 8. Now before the manager, which is a noble, can actually assign that task to this furniture workshop, I do need to designate somebody as my manager. So let's just pick anybody. At this point it doesn't really matter because they're not actually going to have to do any work because we have under 20 dwarves, so it just happens, but you still do need to designate somebody. So we'll just pick the expedition leader for now. And he's got some requirements, but we don't really need to worry about that quite yet. We'll talk about it soon. So now what will happen is that in just a moment that job I've just done will automatically pop up here. and I don't actually have to tell them to do it myself. See, it just magically shows up there now. And if I cancel it all and unpause, it's going to show back up there in about just a couple seconds. Every so often the game will go through and assign managers jobs. And there they are again. Now the reason you should use the manager for some things is that when this is complete, I'm going to get an alert along the bottom of the screen letting me know it's done. And I need to know when it's done because I need to build it right away so they can sleep somewhere. So we're going to do that. How are we doing on the rest of the bedrooms? Yeah, looks like they started at the bottom. They've got 3 floors done. They're sleeping now in the empty rooms. And I'm actually going to go up 1 level, and let's go ahead and build out a... Let's build out a storage area, DI, for up-down stairway. Let's build out a storage area here. So, yeah, let's make it pretty big, actually. And I just keep messing up. And if you want, you actually can use the mouse. That's another great feature of DF Hack, is that you can just do this. So you can click and hold. Okay, so that'll be a storage area, and then 1 more floor above that, I want to have a dining room. Now I could just dig out a room, or I could use Quick Fort. I'm going to dig out my dining room, the dining room I always make, which looks like this, dining room dig. So I need to just press D for designations, place the footprint in the center of wherever I want it, and then just press Alt D. And ta-da, there's the dining room I like to make. Very, very quick. Right, and I do need to designate the stairs. So, and I actually don't need them to finish this yet. I just wanted to make sure that I actually had it established. So they're going to dig up these through here. They can't get to the actual storage area yet, so they'll continue to dig. And after they finish these bedrooms, or maybe before, I don't really know when, they should dig out my dining room. Alright, so that's going. Somebody's working on that. He's taking the stone from the pile that I put for him. And I could have them bring over the blocks, but blocks are pretty light, and he only needs a couple of them. So he'll just have to go over there. Let's do this, though. Let's go ahead and connect these rooms so that he can just run between them. So real quick, we'll go WA, enter, define a burrow, and we'll just assign 1 little dwarf to the task. Exit C, and let's pick Tobel. Tobel, get to work. Thank you, and thank you. Now, WDY gets rid of the burrow. So now he can just kind of cheat, go right through that wall. A little bit quicker. And actually, I want to build another one so that we can get this done right away. Now, here's something you need to know about that manager interface, though. So you can have 10 jobs assigned per workshop, and I asked him to make 8 bedroom sets. The manager will not automatically update the job list and kind of spread out the labor in the most efficient way possible. Unfortunately, it can't really do it. But once this is complete, I'll show you a trick you can use to essentially get the same thing done. As long as we have no idlers, I'm okay. I think that they're all working pretty well. But I do want to do this. We should get some wheelbarrows being built. So let's just build a carpenter's workshop out here right next to the wood. It's temporary. We're going to move everything indoors at some point, but for now I just want to get some wheelbarrows made so they can start using them for the stone. Did I disable it on all of them? I think I did. Nope. No wheelbarrows allowed there. So so he's going to keep making 6 more sets of stone bedroom, but there's a perfectly good workshop here that could be used. How is it that we could get the manager to automatically do that? Well, it's as simple as going through this and canceling out all of them except for the current one that's active. Or if there wasn't one active, I could say remove building and then cancel remove building, which will automatically clear the labors. Then, in a couple seconds, when the game pulses that workflow, or actually not workflow, just pulses the manager's jobs, it's going to automatically reassign. So he just completed it. There's currently nothing assigned. If we check the manager, we can see that there's still 5 more to be made. And there we go, 2 and 3. So he's automatically, now basically what happened is the manager said, okay, I got 2 possible buildings, I need to make 5 of them. We'll put 2 in this one and 3 in this one. So now I can have both sets being made at the same time, assuming 2 dwarves actually get the idea to come and do it. Now actually I've just noticed that they're actually taking this furniture now and bringing it over here, which I don't really want them to do. So let's go ahead and disable that. I'm okay with it sitting in the workshop after it's being made, because as soon as it's done, they're going to drag it this way. So taking it from here to here is just a wasted step. So now we got that one's active, and so is that. No one's digging upwards yet. That's okay. No one's working on the carpenter's workshop yet, but that's okay. Put that on repeat again, see if... I'm really disappointed about workflow not being active. I'm going to enable workflow from here. So workflow enable. Essentially what workflow does is it protects repeated jobs from being canceled. So I have this on repeat, and it's just never going to disappear. And gosh, I really like that interface, Meph. I'm disappointed. I don't know how to. I feel like I don't know how to play without it. I'm so used to being able to control it from right here. We'll see. Okay. But at least by enabling workflow, it's going to protect that job from disappearing. So I'm gonna keep playing this episode until we get our bedroom built, and then I'll probably end it. And there is a chance. See, so that job just got canceled because there's no more unrotten cookable food. We can check our stocks, and we see that there's only a tiny bit of cheese, and he can't create, even though he has 2 cheeses, it's 1 stack. He can't create a meal out of 1 item. He needs at least 2, so he can't cook it. So that task just got put on suspended, so he can't actually do anything with it yet. So let's do this. Let's make sure we can get that damn, build the carpenter's workshop, man. Only 1 more bedroom set to make. Now when he completes this, we'll get the alert. There we go. Make stone bedroom has been completed. So now I know that I've got 8 of this stone bedroom set. So I'm going to go down to my first level of bedrooms. And again, I'm going to pull up Quick Fort. Let's pull up Jonathan's bedrooms. We're going to go to build. And now this time, since I'm on build, I'm going to press B-O. I'm going to highlight right here. And then I'm going to press Alt-D. And it's just going to go through and put all that crap where it belongs. Can you see how incredibly efficient that is compared to going through and saying, put a bed here, put a bed here, put a bed here, put an armor stand here. I mean, you have to play with Quick Fort. It's so useful. So those will go there, and I do want to test something out. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can... see if we can use that planning mode setting. Let's press P for planning mode. And I actually have not played around with that yet. I usually wait till I have all the items, so I don't really know if that worked. We'll see. So we'll come back to that in the future. Unknown material door. Okay, let's remove that and do it one more time. B-O, Alt-D. There we go. Interesting. So what did it actually do? Planned building filter. Ordinary, decorated only, materials any. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not going to use that feature for now. So I'm going to use a, I'm going to press Alt-X, click Query, and then Alt-X will rapidly cancel as much stuff around it as it can. That's a feature of Quick Fort. And we'll just get rid of that. So we'll wait until we actually have enough stuff for the next couple build outs. So let's go ahead to the manager and let's queue up another stone noble set. Get 8 more of those going. Now, any dwarf that has nothing to do is going to immediately start dragging that furniture here to build out the bedrooms. And as soon as these get built out, I'm going to then assign them as actual bedrooms, and we'll get our dwarves somewhere to sit and eat and sleep. Alright, finally the carpenter's workshop's done. So let's go ahead and build a couple wheelbarrows. Let's get at least maybe 3 of them going. Let's get a couple buckets so that we can milk the horses. And why don't we make, just in case, we'll make a... What is the other thing I always make? I really don't need much of anything else right now. We actually did bring axes, so we're okay. Let's just get a couple of those being built. And I think I'm probably going to end the episode here. Still not digging upwards, which I'm not happy about. But in the next episode, some of the things I plan on covering is I want to show you how to add your dig vein key binding to Dwarf DF hack so that it's always going to be there. You don't have to actually go through and type it in yourself each time you load the game, which can get irritating. And apparently he's out of stone blocks, so let's go ahead and make some more blocks. I'm also going to show you, hopefully, a little bit more about how to use workflow. I'm going to have to teach myself how to do it without that interface. So this is probably a pretty ideal place to end the video. And we'll also use QuickFort to go through and automatically designate all these rooms for us. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.